Am I allowed to refuse talking to the police? This is a tricky one, especially for juveniles, because there are a number of reasons why a police officer might want to speak to a juvenile. They would be allowed to, and the juvenile would have to respond to those questions. Thinking about something like a curfew. So if a kid looks younger than 18 or looks juvenile age and they're out after curfew hours, police officer can reasonably ask them to identify themselves to make sure that they're allowed to be out at that time of night. If a police officer thinks that a person is school age and it's school hours and the child is not in school, police officer can ask that child to identify themselves, and if they're supposed to be in school, the police officer can take them to school or take them home or otherwise get them off the street. So there are sometimes reasons why a person could get in trouble for not talking to police if that person's a juvenile and if the police officer has a reason for asking them to talk and to answer questions. Am I allowed to refuse to talk to my school principal? For the most part, yes. Probably depends on what the questions are. In the context of juvenile law, if a school principal is trying to interview a student about possible criminal conduct, then absolutely the child does not have to answer questions from a school principal, any administrator, any teacher, even any police officer. So no, child doesn't have to talk to anybody about any criminal investigation related matter. If my friend's been drinking, can I drive their car home? The simple answer is yes, as long as you have a driver's license. The person who owns the car doesn't have to be the person driving the car. This gets tricky if something were to happen and if you were driving without the car owner's permission. But for the simple question of, am I allowed to drive my drunk friend home if they're not able to? For the most part, generally the answer is going to be yes, as long as you have a driver's license. What kind of trouble can a teenager get into for drinking? Typically, we're talking about possession of an alcoholic beverage or consumption of an alcoholic beverage. Those are going to be tickets, Class C city tickets. If things escalate from there, if a child is driving while intoxicated or with any detectable amount of alcohol in their system, then that could be driving under the influence or driving while intoxicated. And then, of course, any other alcohol-related offense that could apply to an adult would also apply to a teenager or a child. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. Otherwise, you can find us at versustexas.com.